Hi, everybody!
Anyone with half a brain can tell Trails in the Sky second chapter will get a remake sooner rather than later. Falcom can't do a remake of the first game and end it on the bloody cliffhanger that game ends on. Given Falcom also reuse assets frequently to ensure they release a game yearly, we might even see it released next year. That is merely making an educated guess. None of my contacts have told me any information regarding the release of Sky Second Chapter, but I think it's coming sooner rather than later. Usually, by this point, fans of Nihon Falcom have some idea as to what we can expect for their first quarter release for the new year. Usually, Kondo either drops some hints in interviews or they reveal it far sooner. However, this year, it looks like we're going to have to wait for the shareholders meeting to see what they're going to put out in the early portions of next year. Keep in mind, it's rarely, if ever, a large-scale project, and considering Trails in the Sky First Chapter's remake is maybe their largest undertaking to date, it's going to be a small release. We also have no idea what the big release for 2026 is going to be. I think it's either going to be the long-rumored Ys 5 remake fans have been demanding for years, or we're going to get the Sky Second Chapter remake. Which brings us to the core of this video. Now,
no more foreplay.
I made a video previously discussing why I'm excited for the collector's edition done by Limited Run for the first game. Well, I am excited for it, and I hope I'm able to procure a copy for myself. I'm not without reservations on this one, considering Limited Run have a sordid history for delivering products that underwhelm with their quality and never delivering on time. This has been a bad thing for the first Trails in the Sky remake. Couple that with the fact it costs $189 American for the Bracer edition and it's really screwing over the fans. But okay, the price is bad enough. The release is actually well and truly limited, as only 1,500 copies will be produced, and it makes it virtually impossible that all Falcom and Trails fans who actually want this version of the game will be able to get it. Now, if this had released when, say, Trails of Cold Steel 3 was the newest entry for North America, I could understand that, since the franchise had yet to break into the mainstream. The series still isn't mainstream, but now more people know about it, and I'd say this remake is where the franchise is truly going to break out of the niche game mold. That's a topic for another video though. Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on that video when it goes live. But I've rambled about this point enough. No more burying the lead. Let's discuss why the second game's remake will have to 100% avoid limited run games at all bloody costs. So I covered in the previous point how Limited Run is making the collector's edition of the first game really expensive, but also obscenely limited. Yes, Captain fucking Obvious, I get that's in the name. But Falcom is no longer the unknown indie studio it once was. Even people who are not that into JRPGs know of them now, as word of mouth has finally spread thanks to NIS America actually, marketing the damn games. While we do have Xseed to thanks for the localizations for the Sky Trilogy and the first two Cold Steel games, they never had the budget to effectively market these games. NIS America, as I said, did a wonderful job of marketing the majority of the Falcom titles they published. However, with Gung Ho Online Entertainment now in charge of localization, it's a whole new ballgame. Don't get me wrong, Gung Ho is a decent-sized company. They just don't have the same resources that NIS America has, so they can't exactly do in-house collector's editions to the same degree. That's not entirely a bad thing, as they can work with other companies for those little extras. However, there are companies that are doing the same thing as limited run games, but doing it far better, and, not actually treating the customer like shit. It would actually be far more consumer-friendly if Gung Ho went with someone like Pix and Love or one of the many other smaller companies in the same vein as limited run games. They produce their releases in far greater numbers, offer more unique offerings as to what you can get in the collector's editions, and they don't limit them to an obscenely small number that you have to dive onto day one, right when the bloody thing drops. Hell, Limited Run could even fix the issue if they just upped it a few hundred units. Seriously, they'd make more money if they offered around 2,000 copies of a collector's edition. Don't believe me? Look at how rabid a Trails fan I am, and I'm one of the sane ones. A few of my fellow Falcom fanboys are literally collecting to the point they could open a Falcom museum, which would look like the set of the Bond Experience YouTube channel, only, for weebs. Also, if Gung Ho teams up with a different company for the second game's remake, they can reach a wider audience with the Collector's Edition. Overall, I think they've done a fine job marketing the game. I just feel they dropped the ball a little bit by teaming up with limited run games. Other Falcom fans seem to feel the same way. But are you going to try and pick up the Collector's Edition for the first Sky remake? Let me know in the comments. Now check out one of my previous Falcom videos, and until next time, keep blazing that trail.